Okay, so picture this. You walk into a Tesla showroom, right? You're expecting that whole, like, sleek, futuristic vibe.
Yeah.
But instead, you're met with protesters
Oh, wow.
chanting, Elon Musk has to go. Talk about a plot
Hmm.
twist. Tesla, the company that was, supposed to revolutionize the auto industry, is facing some pretty serious headwinds right now.
For sure.
We're talking protests, slump in sales,
Yeah.
and a whole lot of questions about, its future.
Right.
So today we are diving deep into all the factors at play to understand what's going on with Tesla and what it means for the company going forward.
It is fascinating. It really is. We've got a whole stack of news articles, financial reports, even some, social media chatter to kind of sift through here.
Okay.
It's like a real-time case study in how a company's fortunes can shift so dramatically, so quickly.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this a bit.
Okay.
So first we've got this Tesla takedown movement
Right.
that's gaining traction all across the country.
Yeah.
It seems to have started with Carol Ann Fry, a public sector worker in Portland, who organized a protest outside a Tesla dealership.
Interesting.
And what's interesting is that it's not just about Tesla's cars anymore.
Right.
It's become very deeply intertwined with Elon Musk's persona and his political activities,
Yeah.
especially his support for the DIO-GE cuts.
Yeah.
That nickname for the federal job cuts that are satirically linked to Dogecoin,
Mm-hmm.
that cryptocurrency that Musk is always promoting.
I see.
And this connection to a somewhat controversial political figure
Right.
seems to have struck a nerve. Protests have spread like wildfire, with organizers like Carlo Volli in Seattle, openly stating that their goal is to damage the Tesla brand, crash its stock price, and hit Musk where it hurts.
Wow.
And they're using social media really effectively to amplify their message, and it seems to be resonating with a, pretty significant portion of the public.
Yeah, I bet.
One article that I read mentioned that nearly 60% of voters who disapprove of the current administration now view Tesla unfavorably.
Huh. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a pretty substantial number. And it raises a question for you as a, a Tesla enthusiast.
Okay.
Could this politically motivated backlash end up alienating a significant portion of Tesla's customer base?
It's certainly a possibility, and it kind of speaks to a broader trend that we're seeing, this increasing intertwining of politics and brand loyalty.
Yeah.
In today's polarized climate, a CEO's personal brand and affiliations can have a huge impact on how people perceive the company.
And let's face it, Elon Musk is a lightning rod for attention, for better or worse.
For sure.
His involvement with the White House on top of running Tesla and SpaceX and X, formerly Twitter,
Right.
has really made him a target for both praise and criticism.
Totally.
Some see him as this visionary genius, while others view him as reckless and irresponsible.
Yeah, it's true. And that's the paradox of Elon Musk, isn't it?
Yeah.
His boldness and ambition are what propelled Tesla to its current position, but now those same qualities are being viewed by some as a liability.
Right, especially when you consider the company's recent challenges with sales.
Yeah.
It's not just protest. Tesla is facing some very real business hurdles right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about a global sales slump, with some markets experiencing, double-digit declines. Norway is down nearly 50%.
Oh, wow.
Germany is staggering 76%.
Goodness.
And even China, which had been a stronghold for Tesla, has seen sales plummet to their lowest point since August of 2022.
That's rough, and those numbers are really hard to ignore, especially when you consider that Tesla's stock took an 8% nosedive yesterday.
Ouch. It's making that old warning from Elon Musk himself, about Tesla's stock getting crushed like a souffle under a sledgehammer if profits falter feel a little too real right now.
Yeah, it does add a certain sense of urgency to the whole situation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
While the protests are generating a lot of headlines, the sales figures are the real barometer of Tesla's health.
Right.
And those figures suggest that there are deeper issues at play here.
So what do you think is driving this sales slump? Is it solely due to the political backlash and all the negative press surrounding the protests? Or are there other factors at play?
Well, while the Tesla takedown movement is certainly having an impact,
Okay.
it's important to look at the bigger picture. There are other factors that could be contributing to the sales decline,
Okay.
and they're worth exploring in more detail.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig into those other factors you mentioned. What else could be contributing to Tesla's sales woes?
Well, for one thing, the electric vehicle market is becoming so much more competitive. When Tesla first burst onto the scene, it was practically the only game in town, But now you have these established automakers like Ford and GM and Volkswagen pouring billions of dollars into their own EV programs.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen a ton of new electric models hitting the roads lately.
Yeah.
But Tesla still has that reputation for being like the leader in technology, especially with, their self-driving features and battery range. Does that not give them like an edge?
It certainly did, but the competition is catching up really quickly.
Yeah.
Companies like Rivian and Lucid are making waves with their luxury EVs that boast impressive, performance and features.
Yeah.
And don't forget about the Chinese manufacturers like BYD and NIO, who are becoming major players in the global EV market.
So what you're saying is Tesla can no longer rely on being the cool kid on the block?
Pretty much, yeah.
They're going to have to fight to maintain their market share.
Exactly. And that fight will require them to continue innovating, not just in terms of technology, but also in terms of pricing and marketing and customer service. They need to make sure they are offering a compelling value proposition, especially as more affordable EV options become available.
Speaking of affordability, President Trump's tariffs are also adding pressure to Tesla's bottom line, right?
Absolutely. Those tariffs increase the cost of materials for Tesla's North American operations, which puts a squeeze on their profit margins. And that comes at a time when they are trying to ramp up production of their new models, like the Cybertruck.
Yeah, I remember there was like a brief glimmer of hope when the stock went up slightly after Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick hinted at potential tariff relief.
Oh, right.
But that was quickly overshadowed by the news of the protests.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one step forward, two steps back.
It's definitely been a roller coaster ride for Tesla investors lately.
Yeah.
And it highlights just how sensitive the market is to both, positive and negative news surrounding the company. Even a whisper of good news can send the stock soaring, while a flurry of negative headlines can send it tumbling.
So with all these challenges piling up, the protests, the sales slump, the competition, the tariffs, where does this leave Tesla in the long run?
Right.
Is this just a temporary setback, or are we witnessing the beginning of the end for the company?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's the end. Tesla still has a lot going for it. They have a strong brand, a loyal customer base, and a proven track record of innovation.
And they're still the leader in electric vehicle technology, at least for now.
That's reassuring to hear. But it sounds like they need to make some pretty strategic moves to navigate these turbulent waters.
Yeah.
What do you think their next steps should be?
Well, they need to address these challenges on multiple fronts. They need to find ways to mitigate the negative publicity stemming from the protests.
Right.
Perhaps by engaging with their critics and emphasizing their commitment to sustainability and ethical business practices.
Some more transparency and communication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need to rebuild trust with the public.
Yeah.
And demonstrate that they are listening to their concerns.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the sales slump and the increasing competition? How can they get back on track there?
Well, they need to double down on innovation.
Okay.
They need to continue to push the boundaries of electric vehicle technology, whether it's improving battery range or enhancing self-driving capabilities or developing new and exciting models that capture the public's imagination, like they did with the Cybertruck, right? That generated a ton of buzz, even if the design was a bit, polarizing, let's say.
Yeah, that's a great example. They need to keep surprising people, keep pushing the envelope, and remind everyone why Tesla is still the company that's shaping the future of transportation.
And what about Elon Musk? What role do you think he should play in all of this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
His persona is so closely tied to the Tesla brand, both for better and for worse.
Some might say he's their biggest asset, and some might say he's their biggest liability. It must be a tough situation for the board to navigate.
It certainly is. They need to find a way to leverage his strengths.
Okay.
His vision, his charisma, his ability to generate excitement, while also mitigating the potential risks associated with his outspokenness and his involvement in other ventures.
It sounds like they need to find a way to strike a balance, to harness his star power without letting it overshadow the company itself.
Exactly. They need to remind the public that Tesla is more than just Elon Musk.
It's a company with thousands of talented employees who are dedicated to building the best electric vehicles in the world.
So in a way, they need to shift the focus from the cult of personality back to the product, the technology, and the mission.
Precisely. And that's a message that might resonate with consumers who are looking for substance over hype.
So it sounds like Tesla's future hinges on their ability to adapt, to evolve, and to prove that they are more than just a fad, that they are here to stay.
It's a defining moment for the company.
Yeah.
They can either retreat in the face of these challenges, or they can embrace them as an opportunity for growth and transformation.
It's almost like they're at a crossroads, facing a choice between clinging to the past or forging a new path forward.
Yeah. It is exciting and a little nerve-wracking, honestly. It's kind of like watching a high-wire act. You're not sure if they're going to pull it off, but you can't look away.
That's a great analogy. And it really highlights the fact that, Tesla's story is far from over.
Right.
This is a company that has consistently defied expectations, both good and bad. So it's totally possible that they will find a way to navigate these challenges and emerge even stronger on the other side.
Fingers crossed, but let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
Think about the bigger picture here.
Right.
Tesla's situation with the protests and the sales slump and Elon Musk's, outsized personality.
Right.
It feels like a microcosm of what's happening in the business world as a whole. It seems like companies are increasingly caught in this crossfire of political polarization.
Yeah.
And CEOs are becoming as famous or infamous as the brands they represent.
You're absolutely right. It's a new reality for businesses, and it requires a different kind of leadership.
Yeah.
And a more nuanced approach to brand management.
Yeah.
It's no longer enough to just have a great product or service.
Right.
Companies need to be so aware of the social and political landscape.
Yeah.
And they need to be prepared to engage with their stakeholders in a meaningful way.
So what's the takeaway for you as someone who's following this story so closely? What should we all be paying attention to as Tesla tries to navigate this turbulent period?
Well, I think it's crucial to look beyond the headlines.
Okay.
And try to understand the underlying forces at play.
Uh-huh.
Yes, the protests are making a lot of noise, and Elon Musk's tweets are always good for, a bit of drama.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Tesla's success will depend on their ability to deliver on their core promises, innovative technology, sustainable transportation, and a compelling customer experience.
So it's about focusing on the fundamentals, the things that made Tesla a success in the first place.
Exactly. And it's about being adaptable, being willing to evolve as the market changes and the competition intensifies. It's going to be so fascinating to see what path they choose and whether they can regain their momentum.
Oh, I know I'll be watching closely. And for our listeners, I think the key takeaway here is that the story of Tesla is about more than just electric cars. It's a story about innovation disruption and the challenges of navigating a world where technology, politics, and personal branding are all intertwined.
It's a story that has implications for all of us, whether we're investors, consumers, or simply curious observers of the business world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we leave you with this thought. Will Tesla manage to overcome these obstacles and continue to lead the charge in the electric vehicle revolution? Or will they succumb to the pressures of a changing market and a polarized political landscape? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The future of Tesla is going to be a wild ride.
And we'll be here to analyze every twist and turn along the way. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.